I'm going to show you two simple collage techniques to create interesting backgrounds for your pieces of work. So this is one of the final pieces I've created. So I've used two different papers to create the background and then added a pencil written letter on the front of that. These are some of the basic techniques that we're going to be trying. So the first is the torn technique. So that means you tear paper and build up layers to create the final outcome. The second is the cut technique. So that means you cut the paper using scissors and then layer it to create an interesting technique. We're not trying to create a picture using this. It's simply a background to work on. What you might then choose to do is cut out letters or a drawing, or you might draw directly on it and then you will attach that to your piece a bit like this. So you will need a selection of papers. So I've got photocopies of manuscript paper and some wood texture, lined paper, bits of photocopy of newspaper, back of an envelope. They have really interesting patterns, also some brown paper as well. So I've got a few different things. So the torn technique, first of all, what I'm doing is simply tearing the paper. So I'm using my finger and thumb and just tearing downward. You get this really nice torn edge then. You can position the items on the square to check it's where you want it. So once you've positioned it how you think that you would like it, I'm going to do something that's about like that probably. Yeah, I think one piece of envelope looks better. You can then stick it down. Just take the bottom piece first. You don't need loads and loads of glue, just a little bit in the middle. And then just stick it down. If it does overlap the edges, that's okay, because you can always trim it off later. So you're thinking carefully about the composition. What does it look like? What's interesting about it? But also not trying to put too much in because you are going to be drawing or adding letters or something on top of this. And then you can use scissors or a guillotine to just trim around your edges. And that is the first technique, the torn technique. So there's a few more examples here. So you could try, like I have, straight lines, or try a larger piece with them pieces going either way. You could have different sized pieces, so a larger piece and then some smaller pieces, or going diagonally. The next technique is the cut technique. So this is cutting shapes from the paper and creating these kind of things. So I like to start with square strips like this, but you could very well do triangles or much thinner strips or other shapes like curved shapes if you wanted to. I'm just going to show you the straight bits. So for this you may wish to cut using a guillotine, or you might want to just draw with a ruler, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to mark using a ruler. So this measurement here is a centimetre, so that's why I'm going to start with a centimetre strip. So I'm just going to balance the numbers on the edge there and then cut two strips of that size. So that's for that. And then the lined paper, quite like a piece, which is the width of the ruler, and then a smaller bit as well. You can then cut those pieces out. So I think I'm going to use this as a larger bit of background. So I'm just going to draw around this so I get the right size. Instead of sticking it onto that, I'm just going to work on this square. So I think I'm going to have these lines going this way. Something like that. Or you could have your text going, right, I actually much prefer that. So I'm going to go with that. So stick the bottom piece on first. And then exactly the same, you can trim the edges. And there is my cut piece of collage. Now, it might take a little while to find something that's interesting, but if you take your time, place it out first before sticking it down, and then you'll have a selection of really interesting backgrounds to then either draw on top of, paint on top of, or stick things on top of. And that is the torn and cut collage technique.